Hello, everyone, and welcome to our November mortgage and market update. Nicole, it's so great to see you again. I can't believe it's already Thanksgiving next week, so we have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. This year has flown by.
Right. What a year it has been. And, with COVID and everything that's going on, unfortunately, Denver and the Denver metro area is trending a little bit backwards. Unfortunately, we are going back into a code red phase, which is on this new dial that the governor has released. So unfortunately for the real estate market, no more open houses for the time being, which stinks for me because I love to do open houses. A lot of restaurants can't do indoor dining anymore. But with that said, buyers are still out there and the market is still thriving, which is great news for us to keep us busy during this time. And with that said, taking a look at this year, taking a look at, the appreciation that has happened over this year. Like you said, I can't believe this year has flown by so quickly, but I mean, we were just talking about the appreciation numbers. I mean, almost 7%, right? The Denver metro area?
Yeah, 7.14% year to date. And
Wow.
so that evens out the COVID period of time, right? And as we get to December, obviously you'll have your 2020 appreciation level. And we use the word appreciation loosely in this case. It's a year-over-year median sales price or close price.
Right.
When you're really talking about appreciation, you're looking at those big data aggregators because they're pinpointing every single time a house sells and how much it sells for. So they're grafting that up to the neighborhoods and the cities and the states and country. But it's a great indication of where the home price is going. Average can get swung a lot by a lot of lower end or a lot of higher end homes. That median kind of pulls those out a little bit and gives you kind of the move of the market. Yeah, it was up over 3% month over month, double digit for year over year. I have to get that number out really quickly. 12.8% year over year. If I just look at October to October. Right. And then if I do year to date, which evens out the COVID period of 7.14. I mean, so any way you shake it, those numbers are huge. They're equity opportunity.
Exactly. I was just going to say that's really a win-win for both buyers and sellers, especially the buyers that just recently bought. They're already having instant equity into their home, plus the homeowners that have owned 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years. I mean, they're gaining much more equity into their home with these appreciation rates going up, which is great. But the buyers are still having that buyer power because interest rates are low, historically low, as we keep talking about. So it's kind of a win-win on all sides. So, and as we move into 2021, it seems like a lot of media outlets are reporting we're getting a new president. So with that said, there's going to be a transition if Biden does take office once all the votes are finalized and counted. But if he does take office, there seems like there's going to be some, positives for the housing market in that respect, right?
There is. Biden is standing on a platform of a couple things, right? Healthcare and housing are his two biggest ones. We haven't had a lot of housing conversation with our last presidency or the last 4 years. We'll just leave it like that. And so how far this goes is really going to be a question that we won't know until we get there, because we have a bit of a split government right now. So how much can Biden actually do if he does take presidency? Of course, it's all subject to at this point.
Right.
But if we assume for a second that he is, what are some of the things he wants to do? One of the things he wants to do is elevate affordable housing. He wants to change zoning in order to do that. So he wants to have more affordable housing projects in all the suburbs, especially if we don't have to be necessarily close to the city centers, because you usually saw affordable housing more in urban centers. Now he's pushing those out. And with those affordability home opportunities, and he's giving some of that to commercial, some of that to the builder, suppliers, some of that to residential, he's trying to kind of create this massive tax relief and move a budget proposal to move this affordable housing needle. And as he does that, he also is including in that rent control for those homes. So it's going to impact all of us to some degree. We just don't know to what degree yet, but we should keep our eyes on it.
Absolutely. And, I just saw in the news as well for the East Denver area, there's a new proposal that's coming in for more affordable housing as well. And kind of changing, you were talking about zoning, changing kind of the landscape of the East Colfax kind of corridor and neighborhoods to allow some more, multiplexes, some apartment buildings and more high rises than there are there now. So that hopefully would be able to help people looking for affordable housing. So
Absolutely.
we are, we're heading into the holiday season now. Anything else that we should know about going in there? I mean, I know rates are still dropping and stuff like that, but anything else our buyers and sellers should know about?
Yeah, so rates are still low, and I hate to even say the reasons why, right? I mean, the reason why is COVID cases are up. There was high hopes when Pfizer came out with the first vaccine, and then there was a second one, and I imagine there will be a couple more behind that with great effective rates, which is fantastic news. So the stock market rallied, and we saw a little pickup in our interest rates. They actually popped up week over week. We had seen this like incredible trend, and we were on our 12th week of historically low interest rates, and then all of a sudden we move the needle up just slightly.
Right.
And the second time that a possible vaccine came out, it didn't move the needle. People were kind of like, well, now I've absorbed the fact that the vaccine is coming, but what I'm also absorbing is the time it's going to take to become accessible.
Exactly.
So that it's a lot of seesaw going on right now with the interest rates. As we get closer and closer to the vaccine, we'll start to see interest rates pop up because the economy will start to be on better footing. Consumer confidence will go up. Consumer spending will go up. All of those things will happen, and inflation might or might not be a problem. Right now, inflation's very muted. This has not been a problem for this recession, which is allowing us to keep our interest rates low. So for now, as we kind of realize that we're not through the woods yet, that this is going to be another 6 months maybe, then interest rates are staying low accordingly. So buyers have this huge opportunity and they know it. They want to go out. Purchase applications are up, but the sellers are not as excited, right? They either one, don't know that they can find a house that they can move into, or
Right.
two, maybe they don't want somebody in their home right now doing a showing. And maybe those people have COVID or the fear of it. It's fair, right? So they're thinking, I'm just gonna wait and give this another couple of months, which in turn is elevating our prices because there's just simply not enough supply,
Right.
not for any normal demand, and certainly not for the elevated demand that we're seeing. So if you are a seller, no, you are going to get top dollar for your house right now. And if
Right.
you're a buyer, hang in there. Like this is the time, if we can get you still into a home for the holidays or right after the holidays, the sooner you get in, don't keep waiting for something to happen. The sooner you get in, the sooner you're able to take all this appreciation in.
Absolutely.
So,
That, very well said. And that's actually a true story because I had a listing on the market with sellers over in Southeast Aurora. And unfortunately, well, they have cameras in the house. And unfortunately, the buyer's agents that were going in there with their buyers were not following COVID protocols. And obviously my sellers can see this. So they were a little bit disheartened about that. And they decided to take their home off the market, especially with the uptick in cases, the rise in numbers of cases. So they were getting very worried. So they decided, you know what? Let's hold off. Obviously, people aren't following protocols, and we're going to wait and list it in the spring. So, and then another true story to what we just talked about, you and I actually have something to celebrate because we're actually closing a deal together today. I have a buyer client who I've been talking to the last year or so, and I've been telling him exactly what you and I just talked about, the fact that there is this appreciation, and he's a renter, and he decided instead of waiting until his lease is up to jump in now and to give, his landlord a 2-month leeway of, being able to find another tenant. But still, he wanted to jump in the market because of everything that you and I have talked about, because it's such a great time with the interest rates the way they are, the appreciation the way it is, to jump in now and just get that house before, inventory goes down even lower. So now he can celebrate the holidays in his own home. So
so happy, so happy.
Well,
Yeah.
Nicole, thanks so much for joining us today. And if any of you need any lending advice, mortgage questions, mortgage needs, I'll have Nicole's number there at the bottom. And if you have any real estate questions, advice, or needs, my number will be at the bottom as well. And Nicole, I look forward to seeing you next month. We will wrap everything up for 2020 right before the Christmas holiday, and we'll celebrate 2021, okay?
Love it. Thank you for having me.
Have a good day.
Bye bye.